Hi guys, it's Thomas from bookbeam.io, and in this video I'll be sharing with you 5 of the hottest and most in-demand KDP low content niches, as well as a whole bunch of keywords for each of them. Alright, so before diving into the niches, I just want to quickly let you know that we have opened up a new Facebook group for self-publishers, inside of which we'll be able to share all of our insights, all of our knowledge. We'll be able to support each other on this journey of self-publishing. And I'll also be able to share all of my knowledge and my strategies and tactics that I've just accumulated over the years in a more easy and direct, straightforward way. It's going to be much more raw and less edited. So if that sounds interesting, you're very welcome to join. Just find the link in the description down below and join the group. All right, so back to the KDP low content niches. One thing I really want to put out there before we actually look at them is that you don't want to be, what I see in the space is people are wanting to put in as little effort and as little energy as possible to make money online. They want to, do as little as possible. How can I do nothing? How can I be lazy? Put forth very little value and still, still make money. And that's just a very bad mindset to have. And with that kind of mindset, you're not going to get very far. Because when you're trying to do the easiest thing possible, that's when you have no real competitive advantage. When you're trying to do the easiest, no work thing possible, that means 100 or 1,000 other people are going to do it as well. And the opportunity, it's just going to be very competitive. The opportunity is basically going to dry up. And so you don't want to be doing the easiest thing possible. It's actually good to do hard things. It's good to go above and beyond to create more value. And by doing that, you also kind of distinguish yourself from the competition. It's harder to get where you are, to produce in the highest way possible for those, for any given niche. All right, so with that said, let's now dive into the actual niches. All right, so niche number 1 or category number 1 is preschool education type workbooks. And it's not a surprise why these are so popular right now, where they're so in demand, and that's because of what's been happening in the world. A lot of parents are going to be not letting their kids go to kindergarten or not let them go to first grade or whatever. They're going to be homeschooling them. And so for that reason, they're buying a lot of these types of books. So more specifically, the keywords are letter tracing, handwriting workbooks. Then there's also cursive handwriting in this list. I put it in there, although it's not quite, this type of book is for older kids. Then there's also number tracing. All right, so let's have a look at how they're doing on Amazon, how they're selling on Amazon. I'll type in letter tracing for preschoolers, open up the Chrome extension. And boom, there we go. So, all right, average BSR is 1,600. So that means they're selling super well. So average sales is 3,500 all the way up to 7,000 on average per book on page 1 for letter tracing for preschoolers. So demand is sky high, it's through the roof. But we also see that competition is really high. So on average, books here have more than 3,000 ratings / reviews on Amazon, and there's 10,000 books competing for letter tracing for preschoolers. And so what I would do, I wouldn't quite go after this specific keyword. I would go after perhaps a subset of these keywords. What I've seen other people doing, like they do a unicorn themed letter tracing book for preschoolers. That's a good idea, just to differentiate yourself from all these other books, because it is highly competitive already. And then we could check also like handwriting workbook for kids and open up the Chrome extension. Yeah, we also see that it's selling really well. The other keyword was books ranking for the other keyword did tend to sell higher than this handwriting workbook keyword. Let's have a look at cursive handwriting. Cursive handwriting workbook. Boom, open up the Chrome extension. This one's selling a bit less than the letter tracing one, but it's also somewhat less competitive. If we have a look at the reviews, it's selling roughly 3 times less than 3 to 5 times less maybe than the letter tracing one. But as we see, it's really high in demand. And then we also have the number tracing book for preschoolers. Open up Chrome extension. And yeah, they're selling super well. All of the books on page 1 are selling super well. And you know, they're not that hard to produce, but for that reason, again, they're highly competitive. So what I would be doing, I would be thinking about how can I differentiate my book from everybody else's? How can I make it some kind of interesting sub-theme? Not just make it be a general number tracing book, make it be a number tracing book for boys, or maybe a unicorn themed number tracing book, just to differentiate yourself. It won't appeal to as wide of an audience as it would otherwise, but in that way you'll differentiate yourself, and for that specific number tracing for boys will appeal to, parents who have little boys at home. So in that way you add more to the market, and in that way you have more chance to get seen and get bought by differentiating yourself. So you don't want to get lost in this massive ocean of books. Next we have math workbook, scissor skills, sight words, all of which again are super, super best sellers right now on Amazon. We can put in something like sight words. All right, so yeah, sight words, again, selling super, super well right now. Average BSR 7,000, that's really, really high. The next we have also scissor skills, preschool workbook for kids. Open up Chrome extension again. Let's have a look at how they're doing. All right, so, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So it's not selling as well, but it's also much less competitive than some of the other keywords we just saw. So this one is definitely a good keyword with good potential. And the same strategy with differentiating yourself in some way, again, would apply to something like this as well. Next up, we have activity books, both for kids and for adults. Yes, for adults as well, actually. If you type in activity book, just activity book, and see how it's doing. Well, first and foremost, we see it's super competitive, but it's also selling very high volumes here. And all right, 2,000 to 3,000 on average. That is very high, but it's also very, very competitive. So for that reason, of course, don't make just an activity book. That wouldn't be a good idea. What you would be much better off doing is taking something like, for example, here we have I Spy books. Now you might have seen this somewhere else before, you might have not. So what an I Spy book is, it's like, just type it in here, I Spy books for, let's say for kids, or just maybe I Spy books overall, and open the Chrome extension and let it populate the data for us. So this is already, I'm liking this a lot. So this is already really good indicators. So it has very good indicators for demand. Demand is really good. And competition is quite reasonable. So here again, I would be going after maybe some kind of a I Spy Halloween, for example. These have been selling very, very well. Let's have a look. Yeah, BookBeam is telling us it's a 4 opportunity score. Although the demand on average is, it's kind of all over the place. If we look at down here in the table, it's, we have 460, we have 908, and all the way we have also some that are not selling that well, but are still page number 1. So it's kind of, there is variance here, but overall, the sales rate on average is very, very good. So this is kind of a strategy you could employ. You could do I Spy seasonal. Next up in the activity book list, we have also human body activity book for kids. Now, this one it's much more challenging to make something like this. You would have to partner with someone like a really specific illustrator, a really talented illustrator, and perhaps even somebody who has knowledge in the medical field. And also under this one is human anatomy activity book. This would be for older kids, or perhaps even, this would be for older kids, probably even, high school age even. So let's have a look at these on Amazon. So if we type it in here, we see human body activity book for kids. Let's open up the Chrome extension, and yeah, so this one is a massive bestseller. So is this one, selling really, really well. It is quite cheap and it's selling really well. This one's selling super, super well. And so yeah, the average BSR is 62 on this page. So yeah, demand for this is very, very high. Also the pricing is high, but the challenge with this one would be that you would have to actually producing it well, so that it gets good reviews, so it doesn't die out. Obviously, just in general, you want to be making good stuff. so that you could sell it for a longer period of time and actually put good quality stuff out in the world. So that's a good one as well. And then we also had that human anatomy coloring book. Let's pick that one, open up the Chrome extension, and let's see how these guys are doing. So they're doing also very, very well. The average BSR is 13,000, very high. And competition is also quite reasonable with just 1,000 people showing up for this search. What I also like about a niche such as this one is that books generally sell for a higher price point here. Maybe because some of them are printed in color. That might be a big point as well here to note. But yeah, overall, they're doing very, very well. So this one will be definitely quite challenging to produce, but again, anything is possible if you are resourceful enough. Then under the activity books, we also have dot-to-dot activity books, which is a specific type of activity, and same for mazes. There's also maze type of activity books that sell very well on Amazon right now as well. All right, so dot-to-dot book for kids. Yeah, so this one selling very, very well. Let's see. So there is a lot of competition for this one. And again, I would be looking at how I can make some kind of themed type of dot-to-dot book. For example, this one is a Christmas theme. Right now, let's have a look. So right now, this one, it's not selling that well. It's not really selling at all. That's fine because right now, as of recording, it's the end of September. And so the Christmas sales time is not really kicked in. We can expect this book to start getting sales maybe in another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it has potential to rank actually very, very high. So that's a strategy I would employ here. And pretty much the same idea goes for the mazes. The keyword itself is very high in demand, but it's also very competitive. So I would be going after finding, a specific angle, a specific, sub niche for this keyword. Next up, a niche that has been selling really, really well, and that is kids humor. So that is keywords like jokes for kids and riddles for kids. Those are very closely related, I would say. So for jokes for kids, yeah, so it's selling super, super well. It's very, very high in demand. So this is again a niche that is worth considering and worth looking into, and especially with Q4 right now, these types of books sell very, very well on Christmas time. They're very giftable, very easy gifts for kids. And the same goes for something like riddles for kids. Let's have a look at how it's selling. So it's 20,000 number of competitors, quite high, not selling quite as well as jokes for kids, but still we have a couple of books here doing very, very well. Fun riddles and trick questions, 6,000 overall bestsellers rank. Knock knock jokes, well, that's more of in the under the joke theme. Riddles for smart kids, this one's selling super, super well. So these ones, again, they are easy to produce and they're also not easy to produce. So if you would be working with somebody who would be crafting these jokes, you would have to find somebody who's really, really right for this type of job to make funny, relevant kids jokes. Then another really high selling, low content keyword under this niche would be try not to laugh challenge and would you rather type of books. So this is a specific type of game that people play. You've probably seen it because it's super, super popular. It's like, would you rather X or would you rather Y? So these have been super, super popular as of late. So let's look into how they are doing. Would you rather book for kids? Open up Chrome extension. So the average BSR for this one is actually quite high, and that's because of some books that are really lagging behind that are still showing up on page number 1. Although we do have a couple of super, super high sellers like this one. I remember this book being in the top 100 during Q4 last year. So that means it was selling super, super well. Then next up, we have drawing books, which have been growing in popularity over the past years. Under this would fall things like how to draw anime, how to draw manga, how to draw cool stuff, which is an actual keyword that people search for. and then how to draw pretty much anything. You know, as time goes on, different things come and go in popularity. How to draw unicorns, for example, they've somehow sprung up in popularity over the past 1 or 2 years. And so let's have a look at how they're doing. Let's have a look at how to draw anime, for example. So this one selling well. Average price is quite high, which is good. People are willing to invest more in this for how to draw anime books, to be able to learn how to draw anime. Then we have how to draw manga, or for example, kawaii, which again are specific drawing styles that come from Japan. This one also selling very well. Then we can also have a look at how to draw cool stuff or cool things. See how this one is doing. Selling super well, selling a lot every month. Yeah, these books are making a lot of money, but the competition is quite stiff as well. Let's compare the keywords side by side. This one is a really interesting one. This one we're not interested in. How to draw people, dragons, comics, Minecraft. This one, let's X off. How to draw animals, comics, the Marvel way. This one, X off. This one probably also X off. So let's have a look, get data. And so with this keyword search, we'll just see how all of these how to draw keywords perform side by side. We can compare them, analyze them side by side. So these types of how to draw books would be harder, more challenging to produce. If you don't have the skills, the illustration skills, you would have to be working with an illustrator. You would have to ask them to provide commentary next to the illustrations. Step number 1, do this because of this, and so on and so on. But again, if you do the hard things, it is harder to replicate. It's harder for everybody to flock into these different niches. All right, so the keyword search is done. So let's have a look at the results. So let's go over to this table right here, and let's see what the results show us. How to draw anime, medium demand, 3 out of 5 for that, and 4 out of 5 because it's low competition. So we're getting a 3 out of 5 overall for the opportunity score. For how to draw anime, then what else catches my eye? How to draw animals for kids looks quite good. It has 5,000 competitors, high demand, low competition. So this one, according to the keyword research tool, is a good opportunity. How to draw cool stuff has less competitors. How to draw cars, also less competitors, but what I don't like about this one is that the bestsellers rank is way too high. 6,400, that's way too high, so we're not really interested in that one. All right, so next up we have coloring books. So coloring books are super high in demand all year round, super high in demand also during Q4. Obviously, it's a huge niche. The keyword itself, coloring book, is super competitive, all of which we'll have a look at shortly. All right, so humor coloring books for adults. These sell well all year round, especially in Q4 again. And they're all sorts of topical, thematic. You see, we have one such as this, which is very relevant at the moment. A lot of swear word type of coloring books. These are funny gag gifts that are very easy to gift, but they're also, you can do something with them. It's not just a gag gift, you can actually color it. And you know, it's just it's fun for everyone. It's fun for the adults. And we also have something like this, like a political one. I personally wouldn't do a political coloring book. It's just something I wouldn't really want to be contributing. It's just super polarizing space, but these again are selling very well. If we would just look at Trump, we would look at something like Trump coloring book and see how it's doing. The next, another interesting sub niche in the coloring space that's selling very well are stoner / marijuana coloring books. Now, I don't know what your beliefs are in this topic. It is how I see these videos. It's like not my place to judge, tell you what's right or wrong. But you know, this is just something that's selling very well right now on Amazon. So if you're fine with that, if you're chill with that, you could look into producing something in this space as well. So yeah, we're seeing that. So these are again selling very well right now. For this type of book to work well, you would have to have really great art. For coloring books in general to sell well, the cover, not to mention all of what is in the interior, the cover has to be really, really high quality to convey people, to convey the quality to people, because that like indirectly sells the interior. So if you have a good, really good coloring book cover with really, really good art on it, that will automatically sell the book without even anything else. That will just by itself sell your book. So, and then another keyword in this list is empowering books for little girls. Yes, that's actually a keyword. Let's have a look at how it's doing. So you might have noticed by now that this is not really rocket science. What all of these in-demand keywords and in-demand niches kind of reflect is where society is at. Where society is at right now. Everybody's stressed. Everybody wants to have coloring books. Everybody's, not sending their kids to school, or much less parents are sending their kids to school and kindergarten. That's why there's an increase in demand for educational books and so on. So it's just, what is in demand is just a reflection of where society is at. And this is especially so for this keyword, I feel like. Empowering books for little girls. Just enter right here and open up Chrome extension. Let's see how this niche is doing. Yeah, it's super high in demand. That's just a theme. This is just a topic that's very relevant in our society right now, and therefore also it's selling very well. And so with society moving in this way, the demand gets created and you get to produce for this demand. And for coloring books also, you have a lot of different sub-themes that you can always go after. Halloween, Christmas, Easter, any random topic that becomes very trendy and relevant, such as, again, a unicorn coloring book. I bet you that they're selling super, super well. Dinosaurs also seem to be very popular as of late. Let's have a look at, for example, dinosaur either coloring book or coloring book for kids. Open this up. Yeah, it does already have a lot of competitors. And sales, of course, sales are very, very high. So you could look at something like dinosaur activity book, maybe. This one also pretty competitive. But again, you can sometimes with these trends, when you see something is as massive as unicorns and as massive as some of those, as we saw in the first example, as those preschool educational type of books, you can just kind of put them together and you have a kind of a hybrid of these two topics. So guys, I hope you found this valuable and insightful, and I hope this gave you some ideas for your next KDP low content book. By the way, that Chrome extension that you saw there, that tool that you saw me use there, is the BookBeam Chrome extension, which you can get when you are a member of, when you have a BookBeam account. It's one of the tools that you get as a part of the BookBeam toolset package. It's super, super handy when you're doing your research on Amazon. So with that said, guys, I will see you in one of the next upcoming BookBeam videos. Until then, bye-bye.